All Darren Thomas ever wanted to do as a career was drive trains. Despite being a lifelong asthmatic, he held down a career, first as a bus driver in London, and then, when he was offered the chance to realise his ambition as a train driver, working out of Ramsgate. He has a daily diet of drugs to keep his asthma under control, and says it had never caused him problems at work, until he caught pneumonia and ended up in hospital. The drugs he was then given made his asthma worse, and he also suffered a leg ulcer. But when he went back to work, he says he received little sympathy from his bosses.
To be honest with you, initially, when I was dismissed, I was in total shock. And the effect on my wife and children has been quite dramatic. My daughter, I mean, every so often she just bursts out crying. She's 18. You know, she's got her life, but she gets so upset because she sees me and it hurts her so badly.
In 2.5 years, he was off sick for 134 days, each time with a doctor's letter. He says he was so worried that he tried to go against doctor's orders, but was warned he could die if he ignored the advice.
I actually had arguments with them, saying that I can't afford to take time off, I don't want to lose my job, and consequently, they actually had to threaten me with possible court action if I did go into work.
The last, I would have said, 24 months have been ghastly, and people are going to say, well, don't be silly. But even when he was employed with them in that last year, you're constantly thinking, gosh, I've got to get him back to work. We've got to convince the doctor somehow to get him back because they're going to sack him.
Darren says his numerous awards as a bus driver show his commitment to work. And Southeastern failed to take into account his performance as a driver, which he says was consistently graded good, and his plea to be allowed to carry on working. We wanted to put those points to Southeastern in an interview, but they declined. Instead, they gave a statement in which they said, "We will examine the tribunal's conclusion in detail to establish any key learning for the future." Mr. Thomas is now hoping to go back to his old job, driving buses. Ian McBride in Ramsgate for Meridian Tonight.